we're going to move on. We have a little bit of a special call tonight because our amazing Pete, who is probably, I don't know, if they were going to make a poster person for Healing Hands, it would probably be you. And he's actually going to weave Healing Hands into the business portion because he wants to give you a different think about business in Healing Hands. And he's also then going to take over the kind of the personal testimony because this has been so life-changing for you. So Pete, I'm going to just let you have the mic.
Thank you very much. And then I get to hand the mic over to the wonderful Manisha at the end as well, which is
tagged right along with you.
Absolutely. So I think tonight is just wonderful. This for me is, I've got goosebumps anytime I talk about Healing Hands. And tonight is kind of special because I want to definitely talk to you about the power of Healing Hands and how you can make that into an arm of your own personal business. And that's how I saw the NGO leg of dōTERRA, the Healing Hands area of dōTERRA. That's how I saw that in the very beginning. And I remember sitting down with Victoria 1 week into being a wellness advocate and actually saying, how do I do this? Because what I wanted to do was, I'd already been in Vietnam at that stage for 16 years. I'd already done quite a lot of work over that time. And what I wanted to do was to weave dōTERRA in so I could create some abundance for my school that I have up in Sapa so that I wouldn't need to continually do various types of fundraising. And so I could see that there was a possibility there. So tonight, what I want to talk about is, yes, Healing Hands, but how you can actually make it work, how you can actually go through the process of either doing your own passion project or even doing just a little mini event. So the place to start, I have a bit of a presentation, but the place to start always to do your research is healinghands.org. And there's a wonderful website. If you've not been in there, make sure you do jump in there. Hey, Zosh is jumping on. So just make sure you jump into the healinghands.org website. It's absolutely beautiful. There's a whole process, how to go through to apply. And the way that I see the Healing Hands area of dōTERRA is that it's a huge vat of money. And Victoria and I talk about this often. And I'm sure there's people diving into this vat and they're throwing the money up in the air. This is how I picture it. So they're actually wanting just to give that money away. And I cannot tell you how easy they make the whole process. So I've been very fortunate, and Manisha's nodding there. So, and I know Tiffany, you've also done a project too. And there's some other people on our team as well. And I have been very fortunate that I've gone through and done two projects. And the last, which wrapped up not so long ago. So I wanted to talk about the process now. So can I share the screen with you all and just take you through a bit of a presentation I have? And for me, it's the culmination and the end of the project that I've just wrapped up with Blue Dragon. So I'm hoping this all works for you. Can you see the screen there, guys? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to enter the full screen. So I want to talk about the Healing Hands Foundation, but what I really want to talk about today is how this can inspire you. So I want to inspire you to think about your own personal project, because sometimes you think, I have so much going on in my life at the moment. I want this to inspire you just to think about how big or even how small your project is. It's going to impact somebody. And when you shift that focus from yourself and place that on somebody else, there's so much love. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I have benefited from this project, just personally. And so this here just gives a little bit of background. I've been working with Blue Dragon Children's Foundation really since 2007, but I've been in Vietnam now for 18 years. And my whole focus has really been on collaborating with Blue Dragon and before Blue Dragon, just to try to put an end to human trafficking up in the mountains of Sapa, which border with China, border with Myanmar, and there's really mountainous regions. So a lot of children just wandering around the streets up there. Unfortunately, a lot of children go missing up in that area quite easily. There's no border protection. So over the years, my focus has broadened into HIV treatment for impoverished people, and also treatment for tuberculosis as well. And predominantly focused on impoverished communities as well as minorities in northern Vietnam. And what a lot of people don't know, I haven't shared a real lot, but I have an adopted Black Hmong son that I adopted when he was 4. Surprise, he's now 19, which surprises me every single day. And he now works in my cafe in Vietnam, so down in Hanoi. So I get to work with him every single day. And just to see how he has flourished over the years is incredible. And like any proud parent, you'll always say that your child is doing so well, and I'm very proud that he's doing so well. And I get to see that every single day. So Vang, I'll probably do a story on him one day. He's an amazing, amazing human being. So he's been in my life since he was 4. So that's part of the work here, displayed in photos of what I've been doing over the years. A lot of it is, the top left-hand corner is my school up in Sapa. We took that school from, it was an established school. There were 6 kids in that school, and we grew it to 350 Black Hmong children. Up in the northern regions of Sapa, there's 7 different types of ethnic minority groups, and this is what we call a Black Hmong group. So that particular photo, I raised money, this is before Healing Hands days, to buy every kid in the school a Japanese export quality duck down jacket. And they just went crazy because they've never seen jackets like this in their lives. And you can also see in their hands, there's lots of other bags that people had donated. So what I always tried to do in my hotel up in Sapa was to harness groups of people so that they too could feel part of the project. And then that's just a random selection of things that I would be doing over the years, trekking into the mountains, seeing who needed help. So this is before my dōTERRA days, and I would always call on people staying in my hotel to help out. So when dōTERRA came along, I was like, wow, I can really harness the power of the healing hand side of dōTERRA. And so I did. And I did that within the first week of starting with dōTERRA. And the first project was to raise money for Blue Dragon Children's Foundation to work with that organization, because it costs $2,000 every time that they identify that a girl's been stolen, and to identify, to find that girl, to bring her back across the border, generally from China, and to rehabilitate her. $2,000. It also costs $50,000 to train a group of 20 policemen for 6 weeks how to identify traffickers and to have the skills when they're positioned along the border. So this is the type of work, like frontline work, that Blue Dragon is doing. So now I want to go back into Healing Hands and show you that there's 2 ways that you can get involved quite easily. So dōTERRA Healing Hands provides you an opportunity to give back to your community. The 2 ways is that you can think of your own passion project, similar to what I decided to do, something that was sitting on my heart, and to run with that. Or you can just have a mini event. Maybe you've got a wedding coming up, not so mini, but you've got a wedding coming up, or there's a birthday, or there's a baby shower, some kind of event. Now you can actually go onto the Healing Hands website and you can register your event, and they will send you a link that you can send to all of your friends where they can donate. And so instead of buying a gift for you or for someone else, they can donate to that event. I think it's a wonderful, transparent way for you to give to a mini passion project, just in case you don't have a lot of time to devote to, say, a month or 2 months of fundraising for your passion project, and something that I know Manish is going to talk about in a moment as well. So they're the 2 ways that you can get involved. One is a little bit longer, which is a passion project. The second way is to have a mini kind of event. So what I decided to do 2 times over, and I'm sure I'll be back again to do more because there's many things on my heart. Living in a developing country, there's always something that reminds you to think externally and to reach into your heart to help other people. So what I decided to do was to follow the process of going in as a passion project. So there's 4 steps that you need to go through. And so for me, these are a few photos that I just wanted to throw up. I was trying to think of a creative way to implement them. These are the photos I took last week when I went back to Blue Dragon and handed over the money to Blue Dragon. And we raised $42,000 with the help of people on this call, with the people in our community. And during the COVID pandemic is, honestly, it just warms my heart. So if you've got a passion project sitting on your heart, go to healinghands.org, click on Wellness Advocate Projects and follow these steps. So the first thing you need to do is partner with the nonprofit, and you also need to partner with your wonderful Blue Diamond here. If you're on another team, it would be a diamond and above. But I know, I'm not speaking out of turn, but we want to be the team with the most wellness advocate passion projects running at the same time. So this money is sitting there, guys, so let me inspire you. So that's the first step you need to do. The second step that we need to do is to actually apply. And it's a very simple process, and I'm sure Manisha will vouch for this too. So you submit your application, it's all online, and then dōTERRA will come back and say, do you want this to be a fund matching project? And or would you like us to give you donations of product? And the donations go up to $2,000 US. So that's pretty considerable. Yeah, that's like in every oil kit. So that's very considerable. So that's the second step, is applying. The third step is to start your fundraising. And dōTERRA give you this wonderful back office dashboard where you can actually see everything in live. So the people actually, you send the link to somebody, or you just get them to go directly into your dashboard, and they actually send the money directly to dōTERRA. Now, what makes this so different? If you were running your own fundraiser, you would need to go through a different platform, GoFundMe, or there's numerous ones out there. Now, what happens with these platforms is that they take a cut. Sometimes it's 5%, sometimes it's 10%. And the other thing that I didn't know at the time was that they also trickle the funds out. So once your fund is actually finished, and it's finished the set time frame, they will trickle the funds out to you, sometimes over days, sometimes over weeks, and sometimes over months. So you could be sitting there waiting for the money to come out. So the difference with dōTERRA is that 100% of the money that your people donate, 100% of that money is passed on to your partner. So in my case, it was Blue Dragon, and this is me at Blue Dragon. This is a group of kids here at Blue Dragon that we have funded through the money raised to teach them about cyber safety. So when they are online, now these kids have we've had permission to show their faces. It's really important. Normally you're not allowed to take photos inside of Blue Dragon at all. So we've had permission to show this. And these kids, they're vulnerable when they go online. Now remember, these kids have come from horrific backgrounds. We need to make sure that they are safe in the environment that they're in. So one of the projects that we're funding is cyber safety, which is super exciting. And so fundraising is then up to you. You go out and you be creative. And I know Zosha and I were thinking of so many creative ways that we could do some balls in Hong Kong and bring some people in and do some talks. You can do online fundraising in this time. I thought when COVID came along that we would be done and dusted. And I was like, oh my goodness, you know, that's the end of my project. But I reached out to dōTERRA, and what they did, they increased our funding firstly from $10,000 to $15,000 matching. And then I went back to Victoria and I said, do you think I can ask for a longer time frame? And she's like, you should. Why not? Be bold, be brave. And so I did. So not only did I ask for a longer time frame, I actually asked for more money as well. And so dōTERRA then came back. They not only extended our project by another month, they also extended and raised our matching fund to $20,000, which enabled us to then double our efforts. We came back with $42,000. So initially I thought, yeah, $20,000 sounds pretty good in the very beginning. We came out with $42,000. So never underestimate the impact that you can have, especially in this climate here. Please, people are really focused on giving at the moment. There's a lot of people hurting, and a lot of people's focus is going out at the moment. So why not maximize the time at the moment? So the fourth step is for you to make a difference, to carry out your project. Once you've got the funds that have come through, what dōTERRA do, once your project finishes, in 3 days, dōTERRA reaches out to you and they will send the money to your partner. The thing that I love about this, I'm never touching any money. I'm never in control of any money. It goes directly from dōTERRA to the partner. Now, your partner needs to be a 501(c), or they need to be the equivalent of an NGO organization. And there's different paperwork, there's different regulations in all countries around the world. So just reach out to dōTERRA and they are very open to discuss with you how they can help you. They won't say no, they'll find a way to help you. So step 4 here is basically using the funds so that it makes a difference. Your obligation with your partner is to write back to dōTERRA, usually after a 1 month period. We ask for an extension for 2 months to write back with a report and to show dōTERRA and Healing Hands specifically how our funds were used. Yeah. So they're the 4 steps to go through. I'm just wondering whether there's any questions so far on that. I'm happy to open it up to any questions. I haven't been watching the chat. Sorry, I can't see the chat while I'm sharing. There's a little bit more I want to show you. So should I just keep going? I'm happy to answer at the end.
Pete, I just want to reiterate a couple of things. First of all, Pete was 1 week in, so you don't have to be any particular rank to do this. You just have to have a big heart. You know, they don't require that you've enrolled 3 people, 0 requirements. You just have to be a member of dōTERRA. I mean, they're really wanting to give away the money. Pete raised $42,000 US in a pandemic. That is like, if when you hit gold, when you're like a skinny gold, a new gold, that's like an annual, that's like a year of a gold, a new gold, not a big fat gold, the new gold rank. And you were able to raise that and give that in 2 months. And
yeah, that's a really good point. Because
how smart is this?
Yeah.
You know, as far as like what, you know, if you wanted to give this money,
yeah.
do the Healing Hands Project, right? And I'm in the process right now. I actually have a call with my lawyer tomorrow of creating a 501(c)(3 for dōTERRA to do the kind of donate quick Healing Hands GoFundMe thing. You can create this, you guys. If there's not already the organization existing, create it. Yeah, it's like phenomenal. So I'm sorry, I'm just excited with you, Pete. I'll let you have the mic back.
No, it's a really good point, because initially that's why I started. That's why I started with dōTERRA, to create abundance. And it's such a valid point, because if you're going to be sitting around, we know that dōTERRA is not a get rich quick scheme. It's about setting up your foundation and pouring into your leaders. The money definitely comes. However, if you have a project on your heart, this is the way to do it, and the way to do it really quickly. I just wanted to highlight in this photo here, the boy on the left here, Chung. So he worked with me for many, many, many years, and he was basically born into Blue Dragon Children's Foundation. They found him on the street at a very young age. And so he has grown up in Blue Dragon. Then his desire was to go back and work in Blue Dragon again. So he traveled for a year through Cambodia. He found the circus in Cambodia, and he came back again. And we had to let him go. We had to let him go, even though he's one of my best staff. His desire was to go back and work at Blue Dragon. So these children and these kids, once they grow up, it makes such a huge impact on their lives in so many ways, that their desire is to give back themselves. Yeah. So, and for me, this photo says it all. This was the combination last week of handing over the check. And it's all about coming together. So finding the partner that you want to partner with. I love this quote from Mother Teresa. I just think it's so important, because sometimes you just feel that you are just that little drop in the ocean. You don't realize the impact that you can make. But the last sentence of this, but the ocean will be less because of that missing drop. And I really firmly believe sometimes you can be overwhelmed with the amount of work that needs to happen in the world. But if you just focus on the difference that you can make and the impact that you can make and focus on that moving forward, that's what I've done with Blue Dragon. Human trafficking is a massive thing in this country here. And these faces here say it all. They are the survivors. So what I wanted to do in my second project was take it even further and focus on impoverished people who can't afford medicine, who have been trafficked or not trafficked, but living in horrible circumstances and suffering with HIV, who don't have a voice because they're stigmatized, or horrible, horrible diseases like tuberculosis. So for me, this face is the face of my second project, and this is Nam. So Nam, I met through working with me in one of my restaurants in central Vietnam. He was an incredible kid and still is an incredible kid. This is Nam in 2018. And this boy has changed my life over the past 5 years like nobody else has. So Nam, unfortunately, in 2018, contracted tuberculosis. And when you're an impoverished young person, you don't have a voice in this country. So when you go to the hospital, they will just tell you what they're doing to you. So for 6 months, Nam took what he thought was the right medication, but unfortunately, it just wasn't the right medication. So the tuberculosis spread through his entire body. So I had been supporting Nam and his family before this in some other ways. And so I couldn't walk away when I saw this happening. So I thought, okay, this is more than I signed up for. How can I go forward and help? So I again reached out to Healing Hands. I reached out to Victoria and I said, you know what, I really need to do something here because this is going to cost me a lot of money and I can't afford to do this on my own. And so I wrote a project. I reached out to Blue Dragon and I also for their support because I needed to link with them. And I also reached out to Healing Hands. And so Healing Hands in January this year said yes, that they would assist. So this is Nam in January this year. And this was the last day that I thought I would see Nam alive. This was his third time coming up to Hanoi. And each time we brought him from his hometown up to Hanoi, the reason we needed to bring him from his hometown was because the doctors had no experience how to treat him. This is the result of them treating him over a year and a half for tuberculosis. At this stage here in January, he's down to 34 kilograms. And I really thought that we had lost the battle. And this was 2 days before we started the Healing Hands project. So if you want to know what my why is, my why was to get him out of bed, was to make sure that he could walk home. His father had to carry him onto the train. They weren't allowed to take a plane because they were worried that he was going to die on the plane, and possibly he could have. And so they took him on a 20-hour arduous train journey up to Hanoi, and they started treating him. And they treated him with horrific medication, where they had in each arm and each leg, they had antibiotics. And so I knew that even though he had Social Security and he only needed to pay the 20% buffer, it was still going to cost us about $6,000 for 4 weeks in hospital. And even in Nam's condition, with the best HIV clinician in the country, he's only allowed to spend 4 weeks in that hospital, and then they check you out, and then you just have to go somewhere else. So I wanted to create a place for Nam and for other people with the help of Blue Dragon that was a safe environment. So the project was around creating a healing, nourished house. And so that's where Nam is there. He checked out of the hospital, and with the help of Blue Dragon, with the help of everybody on this call, with the help of everybody fundraising, with the help of dōTERRA Healing Hands, we raised enough money so that Nam had somewhere to go after he checked out of hospital. That was a place that would love him unconditionally, despite the health stigma around HIV and tuberculosis. So this is Nam yesterday. So I met up with Nam yesterday. I brought him from Da Nang again. He's finally healthy enough. We put on our t-shirts yesterday, and I have something special for you that I want to share with you now. I was hoping to have Nam here with me, but he needed to stay in hospital this morning to have more checks done. But he's made a message for us this morning. So I just want to share that little message with you all. And I'm hoping this comes up nice and clear for you. Can you see that screen? Yeah, I'll just get it into the screen.
Hello everyone, my name is Nam, I'm 25 years old. I live in Da Nang City, so currently I am a dancer. So in 2018, I had a tuberculosis and received a treatment for 6 months, treated in my local hospital. So time passes, and I was getting weaker and weaker, a lot of weight, and I was on weight trials. I could not dance anymore. So my situation kept getting much worse. My body had rejected the tuberculosis medicine. All my body was really hurting all the time, and I cannot even move anymore. He talked to me seriously about going to Hanoi and get special treatment. He arranged the best doctor at National Hospital to help me. He took me to Hanoi and to help me with my condition because my local hospital in my city cannot do anything to help me. My condition kept getting worse and my family had already gave up. They believed I was not going to get better. But Pete gave me to the courage to get the treatment at my hospital. He took me to Hanoi Hospital 3 times. It had been a long and difficult time for me and my family. In January this year, my weight got down to 34 kilograms. I could not work anymore. In January this year, I had a 4 weeks in Hanoi National Hospital with the best doctor in Vietnam. So my body was so weak, I cannot take the plane to Hanoi. So my father carried me on the train 20 hours overnight to Hanoi. At hospital, the doctor burst many bags of antibiotics into my legs and arms every day to kill the tuberculosis in my body. It has spread everywhere in my body. It burned my body and was very painful. It is very expensive to have a treatment at the National Hospital, and my family very poor. I worry every day how to pay. He told me about his plan to help me and help my family with a dōTERRA healing hand protest. He said he get help from people to give my family money. The COVID-19 come and I think it cannot help me and help my family. My family watch the Healing Hand website every day, and we cannot believe the money go up every day. Finally, it stopped at $42,000. Oh my God, it's amazing. Some of this money go to help me and pay for my medical bills. And small go to Blue Dragon to help all the kids like me in the same trouble. Now, after 6 months last time in hospital, I'm getting much better. Blue Dragon has given me to the money and my family has paid on the medical bills. They helped my family so much. He and so many friends have been helping me through this horrible time. When it was really told my family, I want to say thank you and I'm grateful from my heart to P and all my people that helped me physically and mentally so I can get well today. I promise I will live a good life and never bring anyone down. For me, I will never forget the help from everyone. Thank you.
So um, for me, that's why I do my Healing Hands project, because the face really matters. It's really important. So I just wanted to share that with you and find my voice, and to encourage you to sorry, background music, to encourage you to also do the same thing. Thank you.
There was a question here, and then we're going to go to Manisha real quick because she's in the process of her first Healing Hands project. But Pete, you are so inspiring, and I really want, I know, I have my tissue. I really think we need to have dough tissue that are like infused, like we could buy lavender tissue or balanced tissue, adaptive tissue. I think it would be a good seller.
Nice idea.
But I hope this inspires all of you to see what kind of an impact you can make. Elaine asked the question in the chat, how are you doing the fundraising? And you guys, I have seen everything from, you know, running promotions through your team, to having parties, to just having online. My husband does Healing Hands Foundations every year, and he does his fundraising, he writes a check. You know, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like, he's got these schools in Uganda that's like his thing, and he can write a check and they can match it, and it goes to this organization in Uganda. So whatever it looks like for you is okay. And they, you know, money is money. They'll take it however, as long as it's legally getting it. So what I do recommend is that you have your fundraising in place before, because the first time we did a Healing Hands project, it was like we got it all approved, and then we had 6 weeks, and it was like, oh, get a plan to get the money. So have your plan in advance. So Pete, you are a rock star. You are so inspiring. I think you will speak on stage one day when we can do that again, and you're going to share this. I would love to see Nam go across the stage. That would like freak everybody out. But Manisha, are you there?
I am here, yeah.
Us what you are working on and how your experience is going and who you are going to impact for good.
Well, first of all, I just can't believe that I have to follow Pete. So thank you, Pete. But what I do appreciate is that I think everything that you stand for and everything you do actually inspires me a lot. And you've given half my presentation for me, so thank you so much. So I am just going to dive into what I'm doing, because Pete's kind of told you the process, and it is so empowering to go through the process, even just to that every step, that every inbox email that I got while I was putting in my applications and my forms was just, it just warmed me and just one step closer to what we wanted to do. So I just don't have a presentation, but I do have a screen if I can share that, and I'll just tell you about my project and really like why we're doing it. Let me just get this. See if you can, it's just a few pictures is what I have. So my husband and I, about 4 years ago, we partnered with Hope International Development Agency. It was a friend of ours living in Japan, and he was very involved. The company is a non-denominational Canadian company. So in our first year of, you know, kind of reading about the projects and just learning about the different projects that Hope works on worldwide, around the same time took a trip to Cambodia. And when we took that trip to Cambodia and, you know, we went to Siem Reap, we did the whole touristy thing, right, for 3 nights. And then we drove out 6 hours into the province of Pursat and at west. And when we did that and we stayed in this, you know, tiny little hotel, and my kids were with us, and we met the people of our agency, of Hope Development Agency. And we learned so much about not only that group of people that was working with Hope, but we started meeting the people in the villages. And we very quickly realized that our, you know, every dollar that we can give here will have such a big impact on the people, right? So we started just really diving into the projects that we wanted to support. So now we support projects, and you can see on just on this slide, just really quickly, we are one of our biggest projects that we support. And all our projects are about self-reliance. So we are helping to make the most impoverished more self-reliant, right? So that's where our focus is geared to. So the project that we're working on now is, first of all, we're going to be supplying drilled water wells and hand pumps because, you know, people don't have water. They don't have clean water. Health improvement from clean water and supporting families with a latrine, all the appropriate, you know, health and sanitation needs that they just don't have right now. Also, that water helps with home gardens, and we go in and set up home gardens for them so they can grow their own vegetables and fruits. Also, accessing animals for cow banks, and you know, just really giving them kind of this path for better food production, making, you know, them just more self-reliant. On the left picture on top is my husband, my youngest son. This is one of the pumps that was built through like a project we did 2 years ago, fundraising we did 2 years ago. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Okay, so, and then the picture on the right. So the other thing that we do is we give microloans. And this is really near and dear to me because what Hope is doing is actually, we have our development people on the ground in Cambodia, in Pursat. And what they do is they go around interviewing families. And what they're doing, which is really interesting, is that they're talking to the women of the families. And they're the ones that they're giving microloans to. You know, $300, this on the right-hand side, the picture on the right, it's actually just a little, you know, street stand where people, the lady who's standing on the left, she actually runs the stand. So she started it, everyone comes in and, you know, eats their meals here, and, you know, she's running a little business, and it's just like the smiles on the faces, it's just so rewarding. And then we also, we build schools. So we built one school with our personal projects that we funded, and it's a 3-classroom school. And in this picture, you see like a group of kids, and then my kids are kind of intermingled in those kids. So like just walking into that school and having these kids just run up to us and give us so much loving. And I mean, just multiple times back than what we've given them. It's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So I would really encourage everyone to, you know, find your cause, find your why, find, you know, I know that, you know, we work on a lot of things as advocates, right? Like, I mean, we're working on BOGOs now, and we, you know, we do all of what we need to do for our businesses, but just taking the few minutes or the half an hour a day or whatever it is to put your mind into something like this is so rewarding. It just makes everything else really worth it, right?
You have a link to donate that you could just put in the.
I do have, yeah, I do have that link. Yeah, and it's a very, like, so I think someone was asking about how to fundraise. You know, so this is a passion project, you know, definitely a passion project. We partnered with someone that we were working with, and usually every year we do a fundraiser. Sorry. So, you know, I've been living in Shanghai, and we come home every summer and we'll put on like this big gala in San Francisco, the pomp, and, you know, it's amazing. And we do fundraising that way. Well, you know, we couldn't do that this year. And being able to work with Healing Hands, I'm actually enjoying it more. So what happened, so now we're doing a virtual event. So we have a virtual event with like our, you know, the people that we usually have at that we actually invited everybody who came last year. So we're having a virtual event next week. And Lee, who is the lady who runs our office in Cambodia, she actually came here last year for the event. So we flew her out, and she gave, I mean, it was just amazing. I could have just listened to her talk for like hours and hours, right? So she's gonna get on our call this week on Thursday is our call. And this group will appreciate the fact that we were trying to get Cambodia, England, US, I mean, we were trying to get all these people on one call. And I'll tell you, there are people waking up at like 3 or what, I don't know, I can't remember the times, but there are people in London that are gonna stay up, I think, and then Cambodia's waking up early, and, you know, we're getting like 50 people on this call. And it's just, I can't say enough how empowering it is. And thank you, Victoria, for supporting us and encouraging us to do these, right? Because it's one thing to just support us and put your name on it, but to actually like encourage us and make this our thing, like make this our team oil thing. This is what we do, and this is how we give back. It's amazing. So
thank you, Pete, because it's creating the awareness, you know, so taking your time, Pete, putting together the presentation so that I need everybody to understand you can do this. like, and I love that Munisha was kind of upset that her gala was being canceled. And then she was like, well, wait a minute, maybe I could pivot. Maybe there's something else. And she gave me a call and it was like, yeah, but you know what? Next year you could do the gala, raise money, and have Healing Hands. It'll be like
better. Yeah, even better. I think just find your cause and just put it out there. Yeah. Because what we can give to anybody who needs it from us is just that $1 means so much more than that $1 to them. And I think that's what, you know, and part of my reason to do dōTERRA, to do the business, to impact others is to do this. And I'm glad that I found this path very quickly in not as quick as Pete, 1 week, really? But you know.
Pete's got to be the total winner.
I want to be in the Pete club here. I like that.
Yeah, well, that is, I usually wrap this call on a positive note, but this whole call has just been positive. So thank you, Pete and Munisha. Dawn, thank you. You started us off with tears of joy and we're ending with tears of joy. And you guys, through the oils, through the business, through the Healing Hands, we can wake up every day and choose to have a massively positive impact on the planet. I mean, we actually started off with the rose oil on little Gracie's eye. I mean, this whole, it's just like, I don't understand when people say no to this, but they clearly don't understand, because this is like the most amazing journey that we could be on. And I feel so blessed to be on it with all of you, because I don't know, I just feel like we're all just attracting these amazing go-givers. So I love all of you. I want you all to dream tonight about your project. You may not even know what it is yet, because you have not even had the bandwidth to think about it, because you wouldn't have thought you had the opportunity to dive into that big vat of money, but you do. And now you know, so think of what it is, and you know, start putting it out there that you're gonna do this, and then do it. We've had so many, Allie Wishner, Bruno, Shauna, I mean, it goes on and on and on, the number of people who've done these projects on our team. And we are changing the world together. And I love every single one of you. So have a great, great day or night wherever you are in the world.